Hey guys, welcome to my channel where if you know, you can grow. So let's erase our doubt and let's pay attention because with Sean, there's always something to learn. All right guys, so if you're like me, you're probably wondering, should you buy from your big box store, your local nursery, or online? This is what I think. All right, so here's your answer. What kind of experience are you looking for? Because it matters. Now, when you go into, let's just say the most least personable experience is going to be online. However, websites like Etsy and so forth, and you could just Google it and plant places to buy from. I've only done Etsy, and when I'm on Instagram, if there are like people that I know that have companies or know people that recommend them, then I'll buy from them. But I don't really buy plants from anywhere else. So this is going to be the least personal experience ever because nobody's talking to me about this plant. Nobody sees I'm even interested in this plant. So there's no communication, no extraness. You're not going to learn anything about this plant that you didn't know prior when you're purchasing this plant. However, it's usually the cheapest because you can buy your plants a lot smaller, you know, because there's so many different varieties out here, so many different competitions. So definitely that's a reason why you want to go with online buying if you're not trying to talk or communicate. You just want to buy your plant and keep it moving. That's the experience on buying online. Now let's get into big box. So big box stores are more mid level as far as it being a personal touch and being avoided, because you will see workers there, especially over the summertime, springtime, summertime, watering plants and so forth, and a lot of them do care about plants, so they will spark a conversation with you or see you pick up a plant. It at least feels like you can communicate about the plant, whether it's for care needs or just the size, and sometimes it's just to show off what cool plant you're buying. You know, it's nice and friendly. Okay, so that's the experience you're gonna get with a big box store. It doesn't have to be personal, or it can be. You just decide on what kind of experience you want it to be. You go in there, pick up your plant, don't say nothing. Nobody say nothing to you too. You know, that's how it can go. All right. Now, local plant nurseries by far to me is my favorite experience. It's the most expensive experience though. Okay. But it is the best experience ever because you get to walk inside this place that you see nothing but plants. Most of them you never seen, knew they even existed. And then on top of that, you get to see a lot of brands that you are also familiar with seeing, that somebody maybe have recommended to you or that you've just seen online. Then you have them very happy to see you. So they're talking to you and you just asking them a question because they ask what brings you in, and you tell them what you're looking for and they take you right to it. Or if you're like me, don't know how to pronounce things, but I did take pictures of it to show, they'll lead you right to what it is that you're looking for. Now, with that though, however, because they can get you in your right direction and get you exactly what you need, you have a lot more extra time on your hand. And what do? Now you start to wander around the store. Now, to me, I'm gonna create the time. I could be on a 10-minute schedule, and if I'm in that nursery and I see some stuff that's catching my eye, hey, we about to be late. That's just how it's gonna go. That's why I try to go on days I don't have nothing going on or early in the morning, so that way I can take my time. But yes, that local plant nursery is gonna be the best because they're so nice, they're kind, they're gonna suggest other plants that you should try prior to that plant, or maybe if you have good experience to move with this one. I've learned a whole lot just like with my mix, like a airy mix and things. I learned some of that stuff from the store, and actually the indoor potting mix that I use, I learned that from an actual nursery. He was like, just straight out the bag, you good to go. I was like, really? He said, yes. I was like, okay. I mean, I looked around, he had it in all his plants, and his plants were doing great. So I was like, let me do it. And the thing is about their nursery that I like is that it's inside of a building. It's not like inside of an actual nursery where they have the humidifiers and the temps and the fumes. And no, it's none of that. It's just inside. So I knew I can bring mine home and it should do pretty good. So again, that's why I go with that. Now, with that being said, as you can tell, if you do online, that's your least personal experience. If you go into the store, like your big box stores, Lowe's, Home Depots, hardware stores, Ace Hardware, wherever carry plants at, we even say grocery stores, it don't matter. You will get an experience if you ask for it, but if you don't, you won't. And the third one, being my favorite one, is that you are definitely going to be blown away and really have a true plant experience. So now, after those are factored in, let's get into the cost. I'm going to speed up on these because these are the most boring stuff. Cost, you are going to spend the most money in your local plant nursery. It's just, that's what it is, because most of the time they carry the exotic plants or rare plants or most sought after plants. Like, that's what's going to happen. And sometimes they do have a markup on them, but everything in life has a markup. So it's not like, oh, they're evil people for doing this. It's a business at the end of the day. And if you want the plant, you're going to buy the plant. If you don't want it, keep it moving, right? All right. Two, the mid is going to be your big box stores. For most stuff, the big box store is just kind of mid for the most part. But again, when it comes to price, it's going to be mid because they sometimes overcharge on pothos, just depending on what season it is sometimes. But they make up for it that sometimes they carry stuff like pink princess philodendrons and other plants that you wouldn't even think would be in there, that the nurseries just drop them off because they just getting rid of them. And they be at a steal. So you can buy $40, $50, $60 plants for $20. So that's why I like to say that they're a really good deal. But the only thing that I discount a little bit from is what type of disease and pest you deal with sometimes and getting them from there. But we're going to talk about that on the next step. But the third, of course, being online, that's going to be your cheapest. And the only reason why that's going to be your cheapest is because there's so much competition that if you spend $40 more for a plant than what you have to, then that just was you not doing your full research. That's why take your time. Take your time. All you need is like an hour. Just go through, take your time, know what it is you're going to buy. And if I can give you a quick tip, it's if you want to buy a plant, just hold off on a minute. Don't necessarily just boom, buy it. Sit on it for like 24 hours and see, do the research, see if you have the proper stuff that you need to take care of it. And do you really want the hassle of it? Some plants just aren't worth the hassle, in my opinion, but that's totally up to you. So just sit on it for 24 hours and see how you feel after that. But again, when it comes to the price, it's just so many different varieties and competitions and so forth that you can really choose how much you want to spend and come out happy. I have gone online with like $50 and have bought 3 or 4 plants. Now, you do have to take into consideration of shipping, which is why I try to buy from one seller so that way they include the free shipping. That's how I get an extra plant in sometimes. All right, y'all. And that's going to bring me to the condition of a plant. The condition of a plant matters. When I first started off, I really didn't care how a plant looked necessarily if I really wanted it, which meant if I wanted that pink princess, I would be willing, at the time when I came into the plant game, the pink princess for a little stem about that big was running about $100 to $150. Now you can get a whole plant for like 20. That type of plant that you're buying, like your rare plants or your exotic plants, most sought after, that condition of the plant actually matters because you spend a lot of money for it, right? Whether you get that special plant from online, big box store, or your local nursery. Either way, you're going to pay more for it because it is a sought after plant or a plant that you just desire in general. When you buy these plants from your local nursery, they're going to be cared for to the best of their ability because this nursery want to make sure that they can sell this plant to you at the most money possible, right? So they're going to do the extra steps, do the pest preventions, make sure that it's in the right soil mix. Just make sure that it's in a thriving environment, right? Your big box stores aren't going to necessarily care about that because they may not even know that they have something special. So they get treated like all. So they're going to get watered like all and all that. And I mean, to be fair, it sounds fair, right? I mean, it is just a plant at the end of the day. No. But anyway, but online, Online, it's so iffy, okay? If you find a good seller, keep them. I have a guy, and I'm going to give him some free promo on here, on Etsy, Leaf Stork. I don't get no discount. He don't even know I know him probably. I've been buying from him for a while, and I have gotten some pretty plants. All of them are doing great. None of them have declined. None of them had diseases. All of them have came through for me. This is one of them. This is a Philodendron Majestic dark leaf. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah. This is just one of the plants that I bought for him. I had this plant for about a year now, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, but again, sometimes you get a great person online, and sometimes you don't. I've had horrific experiences. I bought the same plant from the same seller twice just because I wanted to give them another try because they was the only one that had really what I wanted. It's disappointed twice. I wanted a variegated Monstera Peru. What they sent me was a Monstera Statulona Aurora. I have it. I'll show it to you. Here we go. 2 of them right here. That was actually sent to me. The plant did good. In this case, the plant actually did fine. The plant did survive, and I did have some healthy plants. They just was wrong. These aren't what I ordered, but they are beautiful, and I still love them. Now, a very common experience is the one I can't show you because they're in the trash and they're gone. Those are dead plants. I received a lot of plants that no matter what I did, I just couldn't get them to thrive. And to me, knowing what I know now, doing what I was doing then, even to what I do now, I know that I was giving them the best care that I possibly could. And sometimes it's just in the genetics, or sometimes people mess up the genetics. But that's just what happens. All right, so I'll tie it on in with this. It's a big thing that goes around that says, you know, you should always support your local nurseries. This is the thing. I will completely support my local nursery if I know for sure that they're being honest about their prices. I love the local nursery experience. I do. I love pulling up in my car, getting out, filming or doing whatever. But I don't like being ripped off. I don't like the fact that I find out that I paid $15, $20 more for a plant when I go to another nursery and it's cheaper. Like, that's kind of wrong. So I definitely encourage you to always do your research and find out what the average of that plant is. And I do it all the time. I go to Google, I'll type in, for example, let's say I'm looking for a Philodendron Silver Sword, and boom, they'll pop up and you see the sizes of them and you see what they're selling for and all of that. So now you take that information and go into your local nursery and find out if it's reasonable, and go from there. Sometimes you walk away. Sometimes you say, okay, you know what? It's worth it. Local also supports local businesses and all of that. It sounds good. It sounds great for me to say that. But at the end of the day, I'm in there just to get my plant. You know, I appreciate everything and I know everything works together and I'm not trying to be small-minded to it. But we're just talking about just for plants just right now, not the rest of that. So, okay, I want to support a small business too, but you're not going to rip me off with it. But on the pro side of it, again, is that they will have that plant that you're looking for most likely, and it's going to be healthy. And I would trust it a lot more than I would for online. So sometimes it's worth paying a little bit more just for that convenience, you know? And they can also tell you a little bit about the plant, how they're caring for it at least. Of course, we know a big box store just goes to a big corporation and da-da-da-da. But at the end of the day, the big box store was able to provide us something, right? So it can't be all for nothing. So I appreciate it. And lastly, online. We all know that online is mainly it's small business support. Being a small entrepreneur myself, I do get the fact of supporting these small businesses because it gets us off the ground and gets us to, where we want to be at in life as well. We're jumping out there. Not everybody is going to want to open up a company. Not everybody's going to want to be maybe a bus driver or whatever. I know that was random, but I'm just saying is that so there are specific things for specific people, and hey, just support whatever it is they want to do. So you don't have to do it. I don't want to drive no school bus. Thank you. You know, I'll ride the bus though, but no. So hey, just support small businesses with that anytime you get a chance to. But if small businesses are going to overcharge you, which I've read into a couple of those too, they're not getting my business. It don't mean all small businesses are canceled. It just mean maybe your small business is canceled for trying to tax me like that. That's all I got on that part. So most online businesses, though, is where it's at, if you can find it to accommodate your needs. All right, so I am curious to know, though, where do you all usually do your shopping at? Just let me know in the comments. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, so we can keep the channel growing and going, okay? As always, when you grow with Sean, it's always something to learn.